Vanakkam, Hariom and loving salutations from South Africa's finest Hindu magazine program, Sadhana, The Inward Path, only on SABC3. We find ourselves in the midst of winter and also the auspicious time of Aman worship. And today's show has a perfect variety of love and warmth to chase away the wintry chills. We learn about the love and compassion of Mata Angala Parameshwari. Visit the Divine Life Society in Pietermaritzburg to witness their love in action. Warm up with the surreal flames of a Bahukund Yajna in Amshlanga and end with a spectacular dance by Kumari Deepika Naidu. The worship of God in the form of the feminine is one of the unique charms of Hinduism. The tenderness and unconditional love showered by the Divine Mother is what captivates her bhaktas, allowing them to be in unison with God. In a quaint part of KwaZulu-Natal that seems caught in time, Sadhana met forensics analyst Tamesh Govender, who revealed his research of their favorite family deity, Angala Parameshwari Varalaru, in a book that he recently launched.
Angala Parameshwari and the various other Grama Devatas are all village deities. They are a little bit different from the more agamic gods and goddesses. The translation of these Grama Devatas are that they are guardian deities or warrior deities. They protect the boundaries of villages. They protect the inhabitants, offer wealth, health and prosperity, and basically protection from evil forces and bringing about the correction to the society itself. My family have a particular Kuladevam, which is what we refer to as an ancestral deity. Our family Kuladevam is Angala Parameshwari, and we've been practicing the worship here in South Africa ever since my great-grandparents had come down to South Africa during the 1860s. The temple was established in 1879. The goddess herself is more than 150 years old. My great-grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Chinnakolande Natar, they had come down with the Kongela ship. Along with them, they had brought the important prayer utensils and particularly the Angala Mansella or the Murti and the Brahmudi. These are the two Murtis that are most important to the goddess, and during the rituals performed for her, these are most essential during the worship. According to Veliamma, who is the second generation of my grandparents whom came down, she clearly states that her mother and father, on being transported with the ship to South Africa, were given a choice of a certain amount of weight to carry their clothing. They had left much of their clothes behind in order to bring the goddess and the Brahmudi down with them. In the older days, the clans would worship the kal. The stone itself is natural. It possesses the energy from the ground. Another important reason as to why the stone is actually used is that many of these village people or the village community come from the lower strata of the community. The murtis itself was something that they couldn't really afford. So the closest to these murtis that the villagers could worship was the stone, which they then evoked the Mother Shakti into and offered ritual and worship. It's the kal that possesses the most power or the strength of the goddess itself. The goddess Angala Parameshwari is worshipped during the month of Masi, which is during the mid-February and mid-March. It's within that period. The Angalaman festival, if we had to put into a nutshell, consists of a 10-day Utchagam. The most significant ritual is referred to as the Garagam, similar to the Kavadi festival. The Garagam is carried on the heads of the devotees from a water source to the temple. The idea of carrying the Garagam would be to evoke the goddess from, again, a natural element being water, and bringing her to the temple. We were practicing an old age culture and religion, and its practices was misunderstood and poorly understood. So the understanding I had gathered from my grandparents had actually probed me into gaining further insight and research into this particular goddess. Many families in South Africa worship Angala Parameshwari. During my research, I'd come across 7 other temples whom have the similar stories. I realized that they sat with the same question as to what was the meaning and understanding behind what they were doing. I had gone back to India to tally the stories and to bring a more clearer sense of this understanding. It is said that the goddess Angalaman resides in a place known as Mel Malianur. So the understanding and the knowledge of the goddess would be best described at Mel Malianur. So it was vital that the research be carried out there. I had looked at our family temple, which is the original Angalaman temple in India. And I was very fortunate that at the time that I was there, much of the rituals that had taken place were still evident, particularly the Masana Kolle, which is a very significant ritual performed for Angalaman. The book actually starts off with my family story. It goes on to give a thorough understanding and history of the goddess, her myths, her legends, her origin, a thorough understanding and giving her a complete identity as to come into being. Why do we practice such a form of worship? And it moves on towards the more ritual practices, giving the readers an understanding of what are the rituals that are performed, how are they supposed to be performed, and how the different communities perform them, bringing about some sort of similarity in the way the South African Angalaman clans perform the prayer. The book also moves on towards more traditional texts, which will help many of the devotees in offering prayer. It's made up of the Angalaman Namavalli poetry, which is the 108 names of the goddess, moving on to the Astotra Sakta Namavalli, and the Angalaman Padigam, which actually translates the stories of the goddess in Tamil, which I had transliterated in English to give a more authentic feel to the book itself. I am by profession a forensic analyst with the South African Police Service. However, I haven't forgotten my roots. And there are many others out there with beautiful professions, and I'd like to see that they become encouraged as well to go back and look at their roots and maybe even take on such a journey and fulfill the family heritage, looking at where they've come from, not forgetting their origins.
Welcome back to Sadhana. Serve, love, give, purify, meditate and realize. So says Swami Sivananda. It is said that practice of his teachings will confer on one the state of supreme blessedness and God realization, which is in fact everyone's birthright. Sadhana visited the Divine Life Society of Pietermaritzburg to learn more about the selfless organization and its teachings.
My grandfather was one of the founding members of the Pietermaritzburg branch.
I've been in the Divine Life throughout my life. I've been brought up here, attended Sunday school myself at this ashram, and part of the Sunday school now. My grandfather was part of one of the founding members of this ashram.
We have basically satsang every day. So every day we have Ganga Aarti at 6 o'clock. So we have different, the satsang changes slightly every day. Thursdays we have full Hanuman Chalisa, 11 times. Tuesdays is devoted to Shri Ram. Shri Ram is our Ishtadevta in the ashram. So we do Ramayana recitals.
We spread the message of Hindu Dharma, particularly to Divine Life. We follow the teachings of our master, Shri Swami Shivananda, as well as Puja Swami Sahajananda. And I think what was unique about Swami Shivananda was that he preached everything in moderation. I'm a very proud South African. I love this country. And in addition to being South African, I think we need to teach our kids the values of our Hindu Dharma, So bringing our kids to a facility such as this really helps the kids, This is about a right way of living. We run satsangs every day of the week. Our main satsang happens on a Sunday afternoon.
Wednesday is chanting of Shri Ram. So devotees would, as you see, we have a Ganga pool. So devotees will chant Shri Ram mantra and walk around the pool for about an hour. Mondays is, again, we do Shri Hanuman Chalisa 3 times, and then we do our Ram Bhajans, Ram Siyapati Ram Bhajale Ram. So every day there is a slightly differing program which lasts only about an hour.
We have our Shivananda Academy, or our Sunday school, which runs on a Sunday morning. This branch runs sewing classes. We also have a school feeding program where we prepare sandwiches for schools in the area. And then as part of our branch in Reservoir Hills as well as in La Mercy, we have the monthly camps, yoga camps that take place, as well as the Shivananda Day satsangs.
We have the Hindu Dharma campaign, which stresses and shows you why we light the lamp, why do we light camphor, why do we wave Aarti. Messages on Hinduism from all of the different saints. So this year we've got a really nice program because we're using all of the organizations in the area.
We do run Sanskrit classes also. So the kids can, the adults as well as kids can learn, because we want them to learn to read the Ramayana in its original text. So we do have lessons like that.
When you come to an ashram, you be grooming souls. So the language doesn't. We have a Sanskrit teacher at the ashram, so we concentrate on Sanskrit again, which is universal. All of the language groups do that.
I don't think life is any easier. You still have your challenges, but certainly the tools are here, And I'm very fortunate to be working with the Sunday school, because you have the opportunity to inculcate those same values and that same love for the ashram as we had the opportunity to do so. It's all about doing everything in moderation, leading a balanced life, and eventually aspiring towards God realization.
The Hindi Vidya Pathshala of Amshlanga has been committed to the promotion and preservation of the Hindi language and Hinduism at large for the past 14 years. Sadhana attended their Bahukund Yajna in Amshlanga to learn more about this organization and their passion for Hinduism.
The Amshlanga Hindu Society, they are the bigger umbrella body, and we have different linguistic groups that are part of the Amshlanga Hindu Society. So we always have the support of all the other groups that are part of the Amshlanga Hindu Society. Each year we hold many yaj, havans and gatherings, and this is our 14th year celebration, and we thought it was a good time to hold a big Bahukund Yaj, because every year we don't do it at this level.
A Bahukund Yaj means many Havan Kunds. And when all Havan Kunds, like today we are going to be having 70 Havan Kunds. And if 70 Havan Kunds will go ablaze at one time, so you can imagine how much of power, energy, strength in that Agni Devata. Agni means fire, and Agni is one of God's physical element, and therefore we pray to God via Agni Devata to reach Him direct.
If you think of King Dasarat and how he was in so much of pain that he didn't have sons, and he did this prayer with such faith and conviction, and he was rewarded. And I know that I can also say the same thing in so many ways, that this prayer has brought so much of happiness and peace and solace for myself and my family.
And Agni Devata dispels darkness and brings about enlightenment. And together with the mantras that is recited, and Yajman, the people that are sitting around, they are called Yajmans, and they offer items and ghee. And all that put together uplifts that fire. And when that fire burns beautifully and goes upward, that signifies that may my soul elevates, enlightens, and grow upwards also.
The way the mantras are chanting in one voice, you can see the melodious sound which will sound good to everyone's ears. And it is said in the Veda that the mantras remain in the atmosphere when we are chanting it. It brings us physical and mental strength, because there are some messages for us in these mantras. United we stand, divided we fall. So when we are united, can show the power, the Shakti. So the Bahukund Yaj, so many Havan Kund is being lighted, and the Samakri, the key oblation that we are offering, when it comes up in the smoke, all the germs are destroyed. So many Havan Kunds, it makes things very strong.
Right here in the hub of a Western culture, but we still hold our values dearly. And when you see the number of people attend, you will know that the Sanatan Dharma is well and alive, and nothing will stir the people in other directions.
It is being said in the Vedas that Yajovai Sreshtatamam Karmam. The most important part most important action that we have to perform in our life is yaj. Yaj does not mean only the physical one. Every good action is yaj. This is what we learned from the Veda.
The Rig Veda says, the person who is always involved in good deeds experiences incessant divine happiness. So make every deed you do an offering to the divine, and you too will experience this incessant happiness. In conclusion, Kumari Deepika Naidu expresses her love in the divine through a spectacular dance. Do enjoy, and until next time, keep up your sadhana. Namaste.
கார்முகில் போல் நிறத்தவனே பார் முழுதும் சிறந்தவனே பாரதத்தின் சாரதியாய் அமர்ந்தவனே மாமயிலின் சிறகணிந்த மாயவனே தூயவனே சரணம் 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 ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் தக்கதி ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் சத்தி ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் தக்கதி ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் குலத்தினிலானிரை மேய்த்தவன் ஆடியும் பாடியும் கூடி மகிழ்ந்தவன் ஆனந்தமானந்தமானந்தமானவன் ஆழித்துயில்பவன் அவன் அடி பணிவோம் ஆயர் குலத்தினிலானிரை மேய்த்தவன் ஆடியும் பாடியும் கூடி மகிழ்ந்தவன் ஆனந்தமானந்தம் ஆனந்தமானவன் ஆழித்துயில்பவன் அவன் அடி பணிவோம் தக்க ஜம் தக்க திம்மி தக்க நக்க ஜம் ஜம் தக்க நக்க தக்க திம்மி தக்க நக்க ஜம் ஜம் தக்க திம்மி திம்மி கிட்ட ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் ருக்கு நக்க தக்க திம்மி ருக்கு நக்க ஜம் ஜம் தக்க ஜம்